It's not a choice, it's a baby. Blessed are you and the babies who would otherwise not have been born if it had not been for your stance against abortion. As long as you consider unbelief or rejection of the faith as an option for you, you'll always be able to find some sort of problem with every doctrine or practice we have. However, if the only option for you is belief and acceptance of the faith because you refuse to be an unbeliever, then you'll always be able to find some sort of rational support for everything we do. The only reason you keep finding the negative in the things we Catholics do is because you're looking for a reason not to belong. When in fact, if you were only seeking for reasons to belong, you find that also. If this is the Word of God, then it will not be useless in accomplishing everything God has planned for it, regardless of whether or not it fails to prove to you that I'm the returned Jesus Christ, which I hope it will do also. The Protestant movement may have helped some people believe in Jesus, but if it also causes them to reject the church and become anti-Catholic, then they have done more harm than good, because they have also doomed their fate to one of hell. Men who have a true calling to be an ordained priest have seen the resurrected light of Christ, and therefore, as sent witnesses, should forever be regarded as chosen apostles, also who are worthy to be numbered as part of the apostolic ministry of Jesus Christ, providing they do not fall away from this vocational test of their faith. If God calls you to be a priest, do not turn that calling into a lie by turning away from it. If you love Jesus and love the church, you're going to heaven. But if you love Jesus and hate the church, you're going to hell. When someone asks you to show them in the Bible where it says to do a particular thing, such as the sign of the cross, the rosary, asking Mary and the saints to pray for you, etc., ask them to first show you where it says not to. The Protestants are the apostates that have fallen away from the faith. If I thought I was wrong, I assure you I wouldn't be doing this. I revere God way too much to play with Him in that way. A person who would rather die than change their understanding of a doctrine that is at odds with what the Catholic Church has traditionally taught on the matter is not to be considered a true martyred saint. because they're not choosing death as a means to hold on to the gospel and preserve doctrine, but rather as a means to continue being defiant to the church and its authority, which is worthy of hell. Are you right with God? The Catholic Church and its priests maintain the ministry of reconciliation every time it does the sacrament of reconciliation, confession. King James Bible thumpers, you're wrong when you claim that the only true Bible is the English language King James Version of the Bible, which is very hard for some to read simply because you disagree with the ancient manuscripts that the other translations use to make their translations. If they are wrong, it's not because of the text they used, but because they're in a different language and have only 66 books in them, just like yours. However, even with this apparent flaw contained in all Protestant Bibles, I still give credit where credit is due, which you seem not to do, such as the number of people these other, easier to read versions have helped save and enlighten. I was about my Father's business also when I was young, because I was an altar boy. I assure you that the last ones in the boat, the Protestants, will not be successful in kicking the first ones out, the Catholics. I assure you that the last ones in the boat, the Muslims, will not be successful in kicking the first ones out, the Christians. Protestant, you may have a genuine zeal for the Lord, but you are 100% wrong in your persecution of the Catholic Church. What you are doing is similar to what Saul did before he became Paul. You need to blame the Protestants for the godless public education system. Before then, a lot of the formal education was being done by the Catholic Church, which was resented by the Protestants. So they created the public education system. Therefore, they are also ultimately to blame for the lack of prayer in school, not the atheists. They would rather have no prayer in school than have the Catholics teaching the kids. When a person is sent to hell, it is not because God has given us free will. It is because he demands obedience, although the end result may appear the same.